Okay, we are talking about autism and liver health and all as it has to do with the amino acid arginine, what I call super amino acid. What makes this program really an original program, and unlike any other radio program that you're going to hear, is that we focus here on the bright side, we focus on the causes of disease. We don't focus so much on the symptoms, the symptomology. We spent a couple days last week talking about fibroids. If you have fibroids, we said you want to focus on estrogen issues, insulin issues, digestive issues. These aren't directly linked to fibroids. They're directly linked to health. And this is the whole premise of this program, and this is why I call the show The Bright Side. We want to focus on the health of the body. Let the body take care of the fibroids. Let the body take care of the depression. Let the body take care of the diseases. Focus on the health of the system, and the system will focus on the symptoms. The system will take care of the symptoms. If you have fibroids, use fat absorption strategies, digestive enzymes, lecithin, the biolumin nightly essence, in addition to, of course, the Healthy Start Pack, which will give you the basics. Pancreatin can help with all fat absorption issues. I love pancreatic enzymes. There's a reason why pancreatic cancer is the #1 killer cancer and the hardest cancer to recover from, and the one that kills you the fastest. It's because the pancreas is super mega important. But if we're eating a lot of sugar, if we're indulging in the standard American diet, it makes sense that the pancreas would get pooped out. Why? The pancreas is an enzyme factory. The pancreas is an enzyme factory for sugars and for fats and for proteins. When the pancreas is pooped out, we don't digest our foods as well. The liver can become toxic, and you won't even link it to the pancreas. Once the liver becomes toxic, the fibroids can start to show up, and you're not even going to link it to the pancreas. Once the liver becomes toxic, hormone metabolism breaks down, estrogenic cancers and estrogenic symptoms are likely to arise, and nobody's going to think to link it to the pancreas. This is what I'm talking about when I say focus on the health of the body. And the body will take care of the symptoms. If you have fibroids, treat yourself as a pre-diabetic. Stay away from blood sugar spiking foods. Use the sweeties. Chromium and vanadium are two incredibly important minerals for helping us process sugar. Think about progesterone cream or pregnenolone. Use selenium, which is a estrogen balancing mineral. Vitamins A and E, estrogen balancing vitamins. These are all in the interest of changing the biochemical environment that causes the fibroids, or that leads to the fibroids. Does this kind of protocol sound familiar? It should, because we talk about it every day, whether we're talking about autism or fibroids or acne, cardiovascular disease. This cuts to the chase. This simplifies everything. Yesterday we were talking about autism, a childhood mental health issue that is very similar to schizophrenia. It's a type of schizophrenia, in my opinion. And autism, as we said yesterday, has become an epidemic. It's gone from 1 in every 15,000 or so children in late 70s and 80s to now 1 out of every 68. That's a 150-time increase. In the case of autism, or for that matter, schizophrenia, mood issues, socialization issues, abilities to relate, communication issues, as well as the frustration and anger and emotional outbursts that are characteristic of autism, as well as schizophrenia, or from a physiologic standpoint, brain dysfunctions, problems with the organ called the brain. The other major symptomology for autistic kids and schizophrenics is digestive issues. And autistic kids and schizophrenics have well-described, well-defined digestive issues and microbiome issues. The microbiome is the universe of bacteria that lives in the intestine. Can we link digestive issues to schizophrenia? Can we link digestive issues to mental issues in general? Absolutely, positively. Should come as no surprise if you've been listening to this program. When foods aren't processed correctly, we end up with changes in bacterial proliferation, the types of bacteria, how fast they're growing, changes in what they're producing, toxic gases and waste get secreted in the blood. This is all from poor digestion. We don't digest our foods, especially our sugars, to a certain extent our fats and proteins also. Toxic gases and waste get secreted into the blood from bacteria that are growing inappropriately. Between incompletely processed foods, little chunks of food that enter into the blood, food particles that literally leak into the bloodstream through the intestines, and bacterial waste in the blood. The scene is set for major nervous system toxicity. This is autism and schizophrenia in a nutshell. You go to a psychiatrist, you tell them your kid's got autism, or you get diagnosed with autism. Do you think they're going to check his digestive system? Do you think they're going to tell you to get off of gluten or get off of grains or focus on constipation or diarrhea or digestive complaints? Probably not, although these days it's becoming more and more recognized. Changes in gut bacteria can be caused, and can in turn cause, they can be caused by, and they can in turn cause incomplete processing of sugar and starch. These sugars and the subsequent bacterial toxins make their way through the intestinal wall. Like all sugars get into the blood through the intestinal wall, but when they're incompletely digested, the same thing can happen, and then they enter into the liver. All the sugars that go through the intestinal wall go into the blood, and they go through the liver for processing. There's a special vein called the portal vein. Some of you may have heard of something called portal hypertension. That's when the liver gets all blocked up from being toxic and the blood backs up. In any case, the portal vein runs from the intestine into the liver, and all the sugars, as well as the bacterial waste, and toxins from food for that matter, get into the liver, and from there, the liver does its magic, and it is magic. That's the only thing you can call it, what the liver does. Hundreds, thousands really, of different kinds of reactions occur in the liver. The liver's storing and processing sugar, it's detoxifying poisons, it's processing amino acids. Over time, the liver becomes overloaded, and this is where it all goes sour. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll continue this discussion when we come back from our break. 855-660-4260. Okay, so autism and schizophrenia, mental health issues, they don't seem to be linked to the digestive system, but they are. It's not intuitive. You wouldn't necessarily think that the digestive system is linked to the brain, but it is. You eat the wrong foods, your foods aren't processed correctly, you're not making enough digestive enzymes, you're not secreting enough acid. This can change the population of the microbiome, the fancy way of saying the universe of bacteria in the gut. The wrong bacteria proliferate, toxins get into the blood. The liver has to filter out those toxins. Food goes, a lot of the food, not all of it, but a lot of the food goes into the liver through the portal vein. The liver's got to process everything. Over time, as toxins accumulate through the digestive system, they end up in the liver. The liver becomes overloaded. Not good. If all disease starts off in the digestive system, and it does, all disease starts off in the digestive system. Degenerative chronic disease I'm talking about here. All chronic, long-term degenerative disease. A degenerative disease which accounts for most of our healthcare costs and most of our health misery in this country. A degenerative disease, arthritis, or autoimmune problems, or cancer, or even acne, or heart disease, or pretty much what we call diseases are degenerative, and that means they don't get better. They don't heal. That's the definition of a degenerative disease. We always say at the beginning of this program that the body is a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to regenerate, to heal. Every time you cut yourself, you could see this regenerating process kick in. However, a degenerative disease is when this doesn't occur. Something mucks up the system. That's all. Something is mucking up the system. We said there's two kinds of muck-ups. There's two kinds of stresses. There's negative muck-ups, negative stresses, and positive muck-ups, positive stresses, positive burdens, negative burdens. A negative burden is something that's missing. A positive burden is something that's coming in that shouldn't be coming in. Negative burdens mean nutrition, or oxygen perhaps, or maybe water, which is a type of nutrient. Positive burdens are, for the most part, from a physical standpoint, foods. That should be such good news, you guys, because that means there's no doctor that we need to go to. The doctor can't help us, and we don't need to go to a doctor for degenerative disease. We simply have to replace what's missing. So we eliminate the negative burden, replace what's missing, and remove the bad stuff. Eliminate the positive burden. When the liver becomes overloaded, everything tumbles out of control. If all disease starts off in the digestive system, the liver is the jumping off point. In our triangle of disease model, our 3 points of disease, which are the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and the stress system. If you take that model, you got your digestive system breakdown, you got your liver dysfunction. Now the liver, remember, is processing sugar too. This is the jumping off point. So you get your digestive problems, liver problems, then you get blood sugar problems, and you're into point 2 of our triangle of disease. Once the liver breaks down, blood sugar problems, hypoglycemia, prediabetes, diabetes, these are all very likely to occur. You can see the liver is like a bridge between point 1 and point 2 in our triangle of disease because it's both a digestive organ and a blood sugar organ. It's the link between the 2 points in the triangle of disease. And once the liver is messed up, because the liver is also processing steroid hormones, you're very likely to have estrogen problems. A lot of the problems associated with estrogen, cancer, blood clotting, anxiety, PMS, fibroids, endometriosis, a lot of the problems associated with estrogen are really associated with incompletely processed estrogen. It's not only estrogen that's a problem, it's the incompletely processed estrogen that is incompletely processed because the liver is whacked out. The liver's whacked out because our food is whacked out. All comes back to food, you guys. All comes back to nutrition. PMS, circulatory problems, weight gain, thyroid issues, even cancer are secondary to this incompletely processed estrogen that's not completely broken down. The liver is a major steroid hormone processing center. It is the major steroid hormone processing center. That means if you're starting to have liver problems, and that includes 100 million people at least who are having liver problems, it's going to be a short jump to breast cancer, to uterine cancer, to prostate cancer, to fibroids, to anxiety, to stress, emotional distress, to cysts, to PMS, to endometriosis. You see where I'm going here? This is all secondary to liver, which in turn is secondary to digestion and bacteria, probiotics. And if you're a guy, it can be testosterone problems too. Low T, for example, can be related to these liver issues. You see all these commercials for low T. Well, at the same time, as you see all these commercials for androgel and all the different low T treatments, at the same time you see commercials from lawyers saying, have you suffered from a heart attack because you got on low T or you got on a low T drug? So you got the lawyers benefiting, you got the doctors benefiting, you got the drug companies benefiting. The only people who aren't benefiting from this ridiculous drug mentality of ours is us. We're the guinea pigs. We're the suckers. We're the grist for the medical model mill. The best way to take care of your liver is, surprise, surprise, take care of your digestive system and take care of your blood sugar system. Where have you heard this before? This is for all liver issues, including hepatitis, which from an anti-medical model perspective and an anti-doctor perspective should be regarded as a liver issue, not a viral issue. Doctors want you to think hepatitis is a viral issue because then you just got to give up and go to the doctor. But I'm telling you, hepatitis is a liver issue, which means we have control. This whole idea of attributing outside forces, viruses and germs and Lyme disease and funguses and bacteria, this whole idea of attributing outside forces, an enemy from the outside, to what really is internal biochemical issues is disempowering, and it's a diversion. It empowers the model, and it takes the power away from us. It allows us to abdicate responsibility. Oh, I got Lyme disease. A tick did it. Oh, I got hepatitis. I got a virus. This allows us to abdicate responsibility, and it allows the medical model, which will gladly do it, it allows them to take over happily. They're glad to take over our responsibility from us. That way they can bill us. This is what medicalization is about. Medicalization is the tendency for representatives of the medical model and medical corporations, really, not necessarily the individual representatives, but the corporations, to take over what really should be our lifestyle decisions. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We're coming back after this. Don't go away. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue talking about this idea of medicalization, the idea that the medical model kind of, it's like the camel's nose underneath the tent, except it's the medical camel and it's our health tent. The medical model always wants to usurp power. That's how it gains power, by sucking ours. And this is a process called medicalization. You can actually Wikipedia medicalization. It's a well-known phenomena. It's the idea, the tendency of representatives of the medical model to take our power away from us. It's especially true in psychology and psychiatry, but it's true in all levels of medicine. We'll talk about that tomorrow as we continue talking about liver health and arginine. We'll also talk a little bit about hepatitis. Seems to be a lot of folks confused about hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, F. All these hepatitis, the hepatitis alphabet, I call it. And really, it's just much ado about nothing in the sense that hepatitis is a liver problem. It's an inflamed liver secondary to a viral infection, but really, it's an inflamed liver that doesn't need a doctor. In fact, there's nothing a doctor can do for hepatitis. They can give you maybe some interferon, which will cost you $1,000 a dose and isn't even going to do anything except maybe maybe mitigate some of your symptoms. It's expensive. It's got side effects. There's nothing they can really do for hepatitis. They'll give you a liver transplant if it gets bad enough, but there's really nothing a doctor can do, but there's lots we can do. We'll continue talking about that tomorrow on the Bright Side. Okay, 855-660-4261 is our number. Let's go to Maryland. Welcome Chris to the Bright Side. Good morning, Chris. What's up, bro?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Ben. My friend's mother has abdominal adhesions.
Okay. Did she have surgery, or they just happen? She had surgery, an abdominal surgery, right?
Yes.
Okay. So abdominal adhesions are just fibers that form in the abdomen between organs. They're like bands of fiber tissue that happens between the stomach and the pancreas, or the stomach and the gallbladder, or the pancreas and the gallbladder. It's between the various structures inside the digestive system. Whenever you think of fibers, you want to think of cells going rogue. We talked last week and a little bit yesterday about fibroids. Fibroids are a kind of fibrous tissue that can form in... A fibroid is a cell, basically, that forms fibers in the uterus. You can have them in various parts of the body. Abdominal adhesions are a type of fibrous material that forms in the abdomen, and it's always secondary to cells that are whacked out, just like everything else. Now, if you have surgery, and that is the most common cause of abdominal adhesions, that's a mechanical reason why cells can become disrupted. But there's other things that can do it. Infections can do it. Other diseases can cause abdominal adhesions. Any kind of inflammation can do it. So really you want to think of cells that are growing out of control and secreting proteins out of control. That's basically it. And that really is a lot of the degenerative disease, a lot of the causes of degenerative disease. Cells that are not behaving themselves. Cells that are growing incorrectly. Cells that are producing proteins incorrectly. Cells that are stressed out. Cells that are burdened. So what do? Well, you do the same thing we always do. By the way, when cells are growing out of control or secreting proteins out of control, the two hormones you want to think of are estrogen and insulin. And estrogen and insulin, and I'm just telling you that because it's interesting, because really you don't need to know that it's estrogen and insulin. Estrogen and insulin involve dysfunctions, involve food and sugar. So for abdominal adhesions, think food, think sugar. And once food and sugar are out of control, you also have the element of stress and cortisol. That's called the triangle of disease. So for abdominal adhesions, number one, focus on digestive symptoms, correct digestive symptomology using the Biolumin Nightly Essence, the Beyond Organic products, the Swero V, and the Amasai, using digestive support like digestive enzymes and lecithin and pancreatin. Get your mom's friend should be on the ultimate enzymes. Those can help with inflammation. If you take them on an empty stomach, they'll also help her digest her food. She should be using apple cider vinegar after all her meals. And most importantly, more important than anything else, she needs to find digestive symptoms and link them up to foods. Constipation, diarrhea, loose stools, cramping, bloating, heartburn, discomfort of any kind. She should look for those, seek those out. Not make them up, but find them if they're there, and there usually are, and then link them up to foods and then eliminate those foods. That's in addition to all those supplements I just told you about, the Biolumin Nightly Essence, the Ultimate Enzymes, the Swero V, and all the nutritional support. By the way, aloe vera and the Z Radical are also great for nutritional support. Love that Z Radical. Thank you, Ray and Yolanda and Victoria and Iggy for bringing that to Longevity's attention. Awesome product, the Z Radical. So she should be on all those. That's digestive support, and that's point one of the triangle of disease. The second point is the blood sugar system. And again, when cells run amok, when cells go crazy, there's often a blood sugar connection. And so fibroids and adhesions, I should say, but fibroids also should be regarded as a pre-diabetic condition. This is a woman who's on the road to diabetes. So get her on the Sweeties, get her on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Healthy Start Pack. The B vitamins are very important for helping stabilize blood sugar. Of course, quite obviously, it goes without saying, she should be staying away from bread and pasta and cereal and fruit juice and cakes and desserts and all the foods that we love so much. And the best way to wean yourself off of those is to eat more protein and eat more good fat. And then point number three is relax the body. The body will not grow correctly. The body will not repair itself correctly when it's under stress. So relaxing the body is very important. Cortisol is stress hormone. Anything you do to lower stress hormone is going to be in her interest. Of course, the digestive element and the blood sugar element are important. But in addition to that, deep breathing, oxygenation, making sure that she's using mental and emotional strategies, thinking good thoughts. Don't underestimate the power and the importance of the mental mental and emotional strategies when it comes to these ideas. I know we talk about nutrition all the time, and I love talking about nutrition, but the mental and emotional elements are super duper important. Thinking good thoughts, thinking kind thoughts, forgiving thoughts, loving thoughts, feeling joy, feeling rapture, feeling peace, letting go. All of these are very, very important for something as seemingly disconnected from emotional and mental strategies as adhesions, but they're not disconnected. They're all linked together. So work on the digestive system, work on the blood sugar system, stabilize the cortisol and the stress system using emotional and mental techniques, as well as the first 2 points on the triangle of disease. That's how I would be dealing with adhesions, okay?
Okay, the nascent iodine would that
Nascent
help
iodine
also?
would help, but I want you to understand this, Chris, and everybody listening. It's not like you take this for that. This is the way the doctors want us to think. Oh, you have this, I'll take that. Oh, I have a headache,
Okay.
I'll take vitamin E. I have adhesions, I'll take iodine. I got thyroid problems, nascent iodine. It doesn't work that way. This is the way we're manipulated. This is the way people trying to sell us stuff manipulate us predatorily, and it's not fair. I know I get ticked off. I really get ticked off about this. Hang on. Don't go away, Chris. We'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we're back on The Bright Side. Chris in MD, Maryland. Chris,
Hi.
my friend. Okay, so real quick, I want to get to a bunch of calls here, but I'm just going to tell you this quickly because this is a huge idea and an important subject. You don't want to think of nascent iodine for adhesions. You don't want to think of nascent iodine for the thyroid. You don't want to think of vitamin C for your colds. You don't want to think of zinc for your acne. You want to think of iodine, nascent iodine, which is incredibly important for the health of the body. Every cell in the body needs iodine. It's not an option. It's like air. It's like water. It's like food. You need iodine, but not because you're targeting the adhesions, but because you want the body healthy. You follow what I'm saying? Don't think of it like I take this for that. That's the way the doctors want us to think. Every once in a while, you'll see these articles that come out. Oh, vitamin D doesn't work for bones. People who take vitamin D still have weak bones. Or people who have who take beta carotene still get cancer, or vitamin E. Because when the medical model is testing these things, they test vitamin E and vitamin D and iodine like they're drugs, and they take this nutrient and test it against that disease. That's not how it works. Nutrients are for the body. The body handles the disease. Make sense? You follow me? So
Yes.
to answer your question, yes, iodine is unspeakably important, but not because it's going to heal adhesions, but because the body will heal the adhesions using the nutrients.
Gotcha.
Okay, brother.
Appreciate
Thank you so
Dr. Brett.
Take care, Chris. Have a good day, man. Okay, Beth in Texas, what's up? Welcome to The Bright Side.
Hi.
Hey, Beth. Cheer
Yes.
up. Cheer up. Smile. Let me hear a smile in your voice, Beth. There we go.
trying.
Now we're talking. You know,
Okay,
laughter
okay.
is the best medicine, right? You've heard that. Laughter is the best medicine.
Yes.
When we laugh,
Yes.
we activate the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your healing system. It's your recovery and relaxation nervous system, your growth and repair nervous system. So even if you have to force yourself to laugh, do you know if you just turn your lips up in a smile, just the muscular movement that is causing the lips to turn up will activate growth and repair hormones and anti-aging hormones. Simply, even if you're not happy, just the mechanical action of turning your lips up in a smile or holding your shoulders back as you walk or deep breathing, all of that can have wonderful benefits for mood and for growth and repair and for anti-aging and for healing, etc. Okay, what's your question, Beth?
Okay, my question is, I'm bipolar.
Okay.
I'm in a manic phase right now. I haven't slept for
You're in a
almost
manic
48 hours.
phase. Oh my goodness! I
Yeah.
hate to hear what you sound like when you're in a depressed phase. Holy cow, Beth! No, I'm just teasing.
Well, it's coming down right now.
Okay, that's what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
So you want some help with
Yeah.
that?
Well, I want help with that. Well, I have a therapist who's a PhD who also has her doctorate in pharmacology,
Nice.
and she says I can treat this naturally.
With
But I
pharmacology.
have to.
With
yeah.
natural pharmacology. Natural
with
drugs.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I don't know of any natural pharmacology, but, well, it
What-
depends on, I
what
suppose
you
herbs.
do,
Maybe
what you're
herbs.
talking about.
Say
well,
again?
No, what you're talking about with supplements.
Okay. She's probably talking about lithium, which is pretty natural, I suppose.
No, I can't take lithium.
Oh, you
No,
can't take
she's
lithium.
No,
What is she talking
no,
about?
I've already. She's talking about supplements.
Okay. Okay, here's the deal.
What you're talking about.
Okay, here's the deal with bipolar. I'm going to tell you a couple things about bipolar. And I've been working with bipolar patients since the 80s when they used to call it manic depressive disorder. Now it's called bipolar disorder. I remember the first time I saw manic depressive disorder, it was a friend of mine, and I was a freshman actually in pharmacy school, and we went to the library. And this guy, his name was Jay, and both of us went to the library, and we were sitting there. And he couldn't stop talking, and he was laughing, and he was funny, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is so entertaining. I had kind of just met him, and I thought he was just he was the most fun guy. And then a couple of days later, I went over to Jay's house, and he wasn't so much fun. I was like, what the heck's wrong with Jay?
Yeah.
He was like sad, and I never heard of this before. And he told me, I have manic depressive disorder. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it. It turns out that there's a very important link to what are called childhood adverse incidences or adverse experiences. And bipolar disorder.
Many.
Yes, there's a very important link. And this is an interesting mechanism, how the mind works. And I've been studying the mind for many years now. The mind will create all kinds of different ways to divert us from our issues, from our problems, from our angst, from our trauma. And in a weird kind of way, the ups and downs of bipolar disorder, the mania and the depression, and the mania and the depression, are ways that we ignore or avoid thinking about adverse experiences. So the first thing
got out of the hospital.
Okay, well, that's an adverse experience, but what I'm talking about is childhood adverse experiences.
Yeah,
so really, if you want to get to the root, you might want to mention this to your therapist, you really want to get to the root of bipolar disorders, and I'll give you some nutritional strategies here in a minute, but if you really want to get to the root of bipolar disorders, you have to re-experience and then let go of childhood adverse experience. There's actually a famous...
I remember a lot of them.
I know. It's tricky because the mind doesn't want you to remember them. We block them out. And the worse they are, the more they get blocked out. You may need to have some therapy. You probably should have some therapy working through these, and tell this to your therapist.
I've been in therapy for 30 years.
Well, it ain't doing you no good, so you might want to find another therapist or do another kind of therapy. And I don't want to get off on...
This is new.
Okay, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, Beth. I just wanted to point this out, that very often there's a link between adverse experiences in childhood and bipolar disorder, and the ups and downs are ways that we avoid thinking or divert ourselves from these horrible experiences, and there's lots of horrible things that can happen to us. So that's point number one. Point number two for bipolar disorder from a physical perspective is to stabilize the chemistry, to keep the body stable. The most important way we destabilize the chemistry is with sugar. And you'll find most people who have mental or emotional or psychological kinds of issues are self-medicating with sugar, and there's various reasons for that. Yeah. So weaning yourself off of sugar is very, very important for bipolar. That means more protein, more butter, more coconut oil, good fats, and then whey protein and eggs, and steering yourself away.
To whey protein.
Then don't do whey, then do eggs. Find a protein you can do. If you can't do whey, and that's that's not uncommon, don't do whey.
It's right there on the tip of my tongue. It's protein.
Well, I don't want to get off on a digression here. So protein and essential fats, especially coconut oil, which has a lot of brain health benefits and mental health benefits, and away from things that mess your blood sugar up. Fast burning sugars, cereals, breads, potatoes, French fries, cakes, candies.
Man, really?
I know, I understand. That's why I'm saying
OMG.
I know. That's what I'm telling you. Is wean yourself off. Don't try to go zero tolerance. Don't just say, I can't have that, and try to use your willpower. Eat more protein, eat more fat, and you'll naturally gravitate away from those kinds of foods. Then you want to start taking nutrients that stabilize the blood sugar. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine is epic for stabilizing the blood sugar. You should be sipping on it all day long. It also has a little lithium in there, by the way, in the minerals. Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Go to brightsideben.com. Go to Brightside. Actually, even better, call 866-735-2470. Tell them you want the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You probably should get on the Healthy Start Pack.
735
2470.
2470.
Correct. Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And then you might also want the Ultimate EFAs, which can also help stabilize blood sugar and also have brain health benefits. Vitamin A, 20,000 international units a day. I would be taking that. You got to get that at a health food store. Zinc, 50 milligrams a day. I would be taking that as well. You got to get that at a health food store too. And then
how many grams?
50 milligrams of zinc. And the best kind of zinc is called zinc picolinate. Picolinate, and then also the Healthy Start Pack. I'm not sorry. What was the other one I was just saying? Vitamin A, 20,000 international units a day. Most importantly is stabilizing the blood sugar, keeping your liquid nutrients and your Beyond Tangy Tangerine in your system, sipping on it all day long, zinc, vitamin A, and then working with these with the adverse experiences that you had in childhood, recalling them and then letting them go. And you probably need some help with that. You don't want to do that on your own. I know, Beth, but the good news is you'll get this monkey off your back. Wouldn't that be nice? Can you imagine just having the same even keel mood all the time where you're not going up and down and just feeling good every day?
Because I'm a rapid cycler.
What I just told you, if you do what I just told you, Beth, beginning today, if you start the program today, you can start to keep your moods on an even keel. And while, I understand the angst at laying off the sugar and all, using these nutrients and changing your life, that's the hard part. But the good news is, and remember, focus on this, Beth, keep this in your mind and keep thinking about this. You'll have this monkey off your back. You'll have a stable mood. You'll be joyful more often. You'll be consistent more often. You'll just have a better life. That's the upside. So don't think about the downside. You're not going to
medications I'm on.
You'll be able to wean off of all of those as well because they're not helping you anyway. That's it. We're out of time. That's the music. Send me an email, ben@ksco.com. Put Beth in Texas. Put your phone number on there, and I'll get back to you, and I'll work with you personally. Okay, apologize if I left you on hold. That's why I say you got to call early so we can get to as many calls as possible. Call tomorrow. If you're on hold, call tomorrow. Tell our call screen, and we left you on hold. We'll get you first up. Okay, that's the end of the program. Thank you so much for listening, friends. Check out my website, brightsideben.com. Love to have you on the Brightside Ben team. Call 866-735-2470 or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a wonderful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.